Hello and welcome everyone to Organic Living Podcast on how to practice your practice. Today I have the opportunity to sit down with Denise Iwaniw. For those of you who are not already familiar with her work, she is a seer, a spiritual teacher, an author, and speaker around the world. She is the owner and founder of The Temple Within and hosts her own show every Wednesday evening on Star Nation Radio. She works with the Gathering Thunder Foundation and shares Native American wisdoms and teaches with the masses. She is a big voice in raising awareness of important issues and being a voice for good and positive change in this world. And in fact, Denise, the last time I saw you was when you opened for Sonia Choquette in Grand Rapids. How does it feel working with such big names in this field and co-creating with people like yourself sharing such an important message?
Oh, that was a wonderful day for me to be there with Sonia, because it was actually Sonia 22 years ago, that gave me the kick in the butt about getting on my life's path and my life's journey.
Oh, wow.
So for me, it was a moment of going home, and I find my work very humbling. And as I always say, wherever I can be of service is exactly where I allow my soul to go, and to be open to the experiences of life as Spirit gives it to us. Because, we all come here to let our light shine in our own specific way. And oftentimes we get in our own way. But when we allow the flow of Spirit to carry us, that's when the miracles happen. And when we have opportunities to be alongside people such as Sonia Choquette. That was a beautiful day.
It really was. I really enjoyed your teaching as well. You're such an authentic person and an authentic teacher when you speak. And so it was definitely a pleasure being in the audience, just having the opportunity to listen to you as well. At the moment, actually, I have your Mystic Angels Empowerment deck beside me. And I was wondering if it's okay with you if I pull a card to get us started with our talk today.
Let's do that.
Excellent. All right. So let me mix these up. All right. And it's a beautiful picture. Can you tell me a little bit about how you put these cards together and the pictures that are on them? They're just all so beautiful.
Mm-hmm. The Mystic Angels Empowerment deck is part of a series of empowerment deck cards that I put together with artist David Fix. And they came to be when Spirit asked me to write my second book, A Year of Mystic Angels. And the teachings that we find in A Year of Mystic Angels and also on their accompanying deck that you have with you right now come from the teachings of Kabbalah and the Coptic, so the ancient Egyptian teachings and Essene teachings about the mysteries of the angelic realms. And so each one of those cards not only has an angel artwork on one side, thanks to the amazing work of David Fix, but on the other side of the card is a lesson and a teaching that comes from the ancient Egyptian Essene masters. And just as I was getting ready to publish the book and the cards, I got into a wonderful debate with a rabbi who asked me, why would I go ahead and publish such ancient knowledge that really he felt should still remain hidden from the masses. And so we had this wonderful philosophical debate on an airplane about the fact that I feel that many of the wisdom teachings, the old wisdom teachings, have far too long been hidden, whether they're Native American teachings that I learned from my elders or such things as the mystic angel teachings that go back far beyond time as we know it. And so he and I agreed to disagree. And yet the deck that you are holding in your hands right now, it's being enjoyed either in the digital form or in the physical form by people in over 60 countries, which tells you about the thirst for being in connection with or being in the presence of the mysteries of the angelic world. So that's really where it came from. Spirit said, Dana, which is my birth name, Dana, sit down. It's time for you to start writing about the mystic angels. And so it found me going twice to Egypt.
Wow.
In order to study further what I write about, because I don't write about it unless I've experienced it and I know what I'm writing. So that I'm not putting out into the universe something that came out of my own thought bubble,
right,
but is old.
I did not know that story. I didn't know much of what you said there, so I'm really glad that you were able to share that with us. The one that I got, and you might need to help me with the name, Wakion. Okay, and
The Thunderbird.
the word here is growth, and the symbolism is the medicine wheel. And I'm just going to read what's on the card here quickly for you and for our listeners. The ancient angelic form known as the Wakion, or thunder being, prompts you to remember that life is a wondrous cycle in which all things are passing, and yet have always been and will always be. In this sacred hoop of life, every living thing is our brother and our sister. The Wakion thanks you for honoring all life forms and for walking gently upon Grandmother Earth. You are a beautiful spoke in the glorious medicine wheel of life. We are one. And the daily mantra here says, I am one with all in the sacred hoop of life. So what is Wakion? And for people that don't already know these words, is necessary to be able to understand some of these words that are on the cards, or just understanding the gist of it?
For some people, just looking at the artwork gives them what their soul is needing, and for others, it's a combination of the words and the artwork, and for some people, it's the words. But the Wakion, that word is a Lakota word, and I'm trained in the Lakota ceremonial ways by the elders out on Pine Ridge Indian Reservation in South Dakota. The reason that I included the Wakion, the thunder being, the thunderbird, is that a lot of people don't know that in ancient texts and writings, in the Hebrew and the Essene traditions, there are those known as the thunder dreamers. And there's an entire gospel called the thunder. And so when we talk about supernatural beings, I included the Wakion, the thunderbird, from the Native American tradition here in Native North America, because it's every bit as much an angelic form as the Archangel St. Michael. And I wanted to be very inclusive with the cards. So the Thunderbird, the thunder being, a lot of people perhaps understand the Thunderbird as being a part of a Native American totem pole or part of legend and lore, but it's far more than that. It is said that the thunder being, the thunderbird, has the all-seeing eye of the Creator, and that all-seeing eye of the Creator, right in the middle of its forehead, sees and witnesses and watches all that we do in our lifetime and helps record it in the Akasha, or in the history of our life. Whenever the Wakion, the thunderbird, or the thunderers show up, it's time for growth, no different than a lightning strike when it happens here on Mother Earth. All things are rendered in that moment so that new growth, new grasses, new trees, new flowers, flora, fauna can grow up fresh and new in what was at one time scorched earth. So the Wakion tells us that we are getting ready for another spurt of spiritual growth, and that we are right on track. We are walking the medicine wheel purposefully and beautifully and in a good way. And so the Wakion, the thunder being, when it appears, we hear the thunder being when we're sitting in a thunder and lightning storm. Some people love the sound of thunder and lightning because in and amongst the octaves of those sounds and the frequencies of that, spirit, as it's known as the thunders, the thunder nation, is telling us about death and dying, birth, rebirth, letting go, moving on, growing, ascending. And this is one of my very favorite cards in the deck because it is also a reminder that we are all related. We say in the Lakota language, Mitakuyasin, we are all related, all my relations. And it's true. The Thunderbird teaches us that I'm related to you, to the trees, to the flowers, to all living things seen and unseen. Did that make sense, Jennifer?
Yeah, that is such a powerful message. Thank you for talking a little bit more about this card that we drew. A big question today that I would like to ask you is if you still experience, after having all of this knowledge and you've put out so much great wisdom into collective consciousness, if you still, as a person in your everyday life, experience hard days and difficult emotions and vices, and how you deal with them knowing what you know.
I do. And in fact, I was just talking last night with my business partner, Neshi Locott, about the responsibility of being a sacred pipe carrier and pouring the sweat lodge and walking the spiritual path. About there are days when we feel as though we've still been brought to our knees. And in those days when we experience this just before another spurt of growth on our path, what I've always done and what I continue to do, and the elders have always taught me, is during those times we need to become quiet. We need to become very quiet. And for me, I go outdoors. I'll go out to my sweat lodge, I'll go out to my medicine wheel here on my sacred ceremonial grounds, or I'll just walk in the woods, and I become very still. And I always ask, as I have since I was a very little girl, what is it that I need to know right now? What am I missing? What is my part in why I'm feeling this way? What am I supposed to learn from my part in this situation? And what am I to learn going forward from this? And then I always ask Spirit to give me a sign. I will say, Wakantanka, Takashila, God, Creator, please give me a sign that I'm on the right path, that this is a time of growth for me, and I need to be very still, just like the seed is very still inside the soil. Very still, and then all of a sudden it becomes active as it works its way up through the dirt and finds itself in the sunshine again. And I'll ask Spirit for a sign, and sometimes the sign that I get is an eagle will show up here on the land, and the eagle will start to cry, that beautiful eagle song that it does, or an owl will swoop by, or a turtle will show up on the land. And sometimes I can feel the presence of the angels around me. Sometimes, Jennifer, when I ask for a sign, the signs are given to me in my dreams. When I'm very quiet and my body is resting. So when we ask Creator for a sign, we need to be aware that all of our life is a dream. We're constantly dreaming when our body is awake and in motion, when our body is asleep and quiet. We are in the midst of a dream that we're creating, and Spirit will send us signs that we're on the right path. Typically, when we have those moments of what St. John of the Cross calls the dark night of the soul, it always is telling us, just like the thunderbird with the thunder and lightning, get ready for new growth. And sometimes that new growth means we have to let go of some things. That can be tough in the letting go. Sometimes it's people. Sometimes it's thoughts that we have about ourselves. Sometimes it's what we've been taught. And in the letting go, in the shedding, we have growth, but we have to be quiet. The other thing that goes along with that is trust. We have to trust in our own innate ability to connect to the Creator and to experience the Creator's conversation with us. Every single living being in the seen and unseen world is connected to Creator. Usually we're too busy, or we don't trust ourselves because somebody told us we shouldn't trust our connection to the Creator for a variety of reasons.
Wow, that's a great answer. Thank you. And I heard that your Gathering Thunder is doing a drumathon. Is that coming up soon?
It's coming up this Saturday. We are lighting a fire on Saturday morning, right at dawn. We are lighting a sacred fire, and then we have drummers all around Mother Earth who are going to drum for 24 hours for world peace.
Wow, that sounds great.
Yeah, very excited about that.
Wow. All right. And if someone listening to this now would like to learn more about what you're doing and your teachings, how can they reach you?
The best way to do that, and thank you for asking, my website is templewithin.com.
Okay.
And there are links to all of the other variety of companies that I run, and including my foundation, Gathering Thunder Foundation, templewithin.com.
templewithin.com. Well, thank you again, Denise, for this time you've set aside to talk with me on Organic Living's podcast, How to Practice Your Practice. And thank you for the message that you share with the world on a daily basis and for your light. I really appreciate you.
Thank you so much, Jennifer, and I appreciate you.
Oh, thank you. Bye-bye.
Good night.